like to welcome you guys to Logical Dynamite Radio. Now, this is inclined more toward the audio experience for the busy individual that still desires to receive the full value of the discussion at hand without needing to have their face glued to the computer or their smartphone to do so. There tends to be minimal video in this particular segment of the channel, but just know that it's mostly audio for you guys who prefer to listen while you work or listen while you chill. This segment is for you. So before we get into this topic, I want to start by saying that I believe that balance is important. I believe that there are lessons that each of us can learn about many things, including ourselves, and that no one knows everything and no one is completely innocent, nor is anyone completely blameless in this life. And all that we can hope for is that when we know better, we can do better. Now, having said that, can someone, please, for the life of me, explain why suddenly there seems to be a narrative being promoted, which I've seen by black men, that suggests that black men are the entire blame for any and everything that a woman does if that woman happens to be black.
And I'm telling you, black men are responsible for her being masculine.
She chooses a pookie, blame the black man. This is what we're seeing with Umar Johnson, but a whole lot of people have covered that topic. You know, and even now there's a narrative that suggests that all men are the blame for anything that happens with a woman's body post-pregnancy. What is going on with these guys? They're saying that if that man delivered that sperm to her egg, oh yeah, buddy, you're at fault. See, she's innocent because believe all women but blame all men. But I think that the late, great DMX said it best.
Here we go again. Yeah. Same old shit, dog. It's a different day. Here we go again.
Oh, yeah. And this is nothing new, but it seems to be reoccurring a lot more often now. But at this point, it seems to be like it's pretty much expected. Just blame the man. So go ahead and hit that like button and that subscribe button as we move on to the first clip, or the only clip, where this guy from the Basement Podcast says that her body, her choice, but the end result, yeah, that's a man's fault.
There are too many men, once their wives start having their children they made, oh, well, she just ain't available no more, you know what I'm saying? And she's kind of let herself go. She had a baby, fool. She had your baby. Whatever your baby did to her body, you need to accept the consequences of. Right. If that flat stomach go away and that six-pack go away and it looked like somebody threw spaghetti on her stomach because she got all the stretch marks and stuff, you better love it.
That's right.
Because your sperm hit that egg and blew that belly out. Truett, you sound like a real one. So I'm not coming at you. I'm just coming at these dudes. You know what I mean? I know if Truett's watching, he's like, I'm okay.
That's a simple question.
Yeah, like I'm good. I'm good, fam. I'm gonna do my part. I've sat down with too many couples that.
Please know our passion comes out of sometimes frustrations because we
does.
see so many.
Oh, I've got to be real. This is disingenuous. I have never seen any man complain about his woman having stretch marks after she's given birth to a baby. That's understandable. This man is conflating the argument. He's mixing things up. Oh, your sperm hit that egg. Anything that baby does to her body after she's pregnant, oh, that's your fault. Listen, if a man complains about his woman having stretch marks after she's given birth, I think, first of all, that guy is ridiculous. But that is not what men are complaining about. And he's being disingenuous for saying that. When a man says, how did he say, let herself go? When a man says letting herself go, this is a continuing process. He's not saying, well, she gave birth. Oh man, she just let her whole body go. No. He's talking about a continuing, a progressive process that is happening. Now, one thing that I notice is that when men are surrounded by women or they do podcasts with women, there's a tendency for them to hold back or feel the need to make their female co-host comfortable, so much so that they remove, I guess, truth, or they are afraid to tell the truth. And a lot of those guys that are truth tellers, they have a rare woman at their side. She's very rare, and she probably doesn't get along with a lot of other women. But let's take a look at exactly what men are complaining about. Now, when they talk about after she gives birth that she's letting herself go, this is talking about she is gaining weight. And there's this misconception that the baby makes you fat. Now, here's the thing. You can still love your woman, let's say she was 120 pounds, and then she gave birth and now she's 220 pounds. I mean, look, if that works for you, great. But now let's face the truth. That baby didn't do that to her. Here's what a baby causes, pregnancy causes. It causes edema. Edema, which pretty much is the tissue retaining fluid, which causes swelling. That's edema. It does not cause a fata, the gaining of fat. So this idea, well, the baby made her fat. No, pregnancy, there's probably a little bit of fat gain, probably too, but typically it's edema. Anything else is her doing. Overeating. Now, this suggests that there are no women that have been able to maintain their shape, that have had a specific pre-pregnancy weight, and that went right back to that after the swelling went down. There are women that make excuses that they are eating for two, which is, first of all, an ambiguous statement, because eating for two really means I have to monitor my diet because I don't want to ingest something that is harmful for my child. They take that to mean, no, I get to eat double the portion, which is ridiculous. And doctors even, they advise against overeating. But it's kind of this space that we are now. We're in this body positivity thing, that really, you can't say anything. You can't really say anything. Well, because, hey, everybody's body is accepted. But to go so far as to then say, if she sits on a sofa after she's had a baby and she eats peanut butter out of the jar day in and day out, if she was 120 pounds before the pregnancy, and then immediately after the pregnancy, she weighs 140 pounds, it is now your fault because she weighs 220 pounds. And she's still blaming that on the baby. No, that's not edema. That's fat. That's different. So to say that a man's sperm causes fat cells to develop in a woman is ridiculous. It's disingenuous. And I don't think that it does a woman or that it benefits a woman in this environment to be given yet another piece of misinformation that enables her to be unaccountable for her own actions toward her own health. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's one thing to promote loving your wife, and it's one thing to promote, hey, we're in this together. You know, I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna walk with you. We're gonna exercise together, baby. Come on. Hut 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hut 2, 3, 4. Move that gut. It's one thing to promote that. But it's a totally different matter when you start beating the drum of, it's not your fault. It's all his. His. He went skeet scat. Now you are fat. See what I'm saying? We don't need any more of that sort of information. We need men to speak the way that men used to speak. Because right now, it doesn't seem like men are very popular in the community, especially the black community. The voice of men are not very popular, even amongst women. They're not very popular. And the way that you make something popular, or the way that you make something unpopular, is by removing it. Then it becomes unfamiliar. And then when it's unfamiliar, it becomes weird to people. And people have a way of fearing or being in fear of things that they don't understand. Things that are not familiar. Hey, you want to try this new dish I made? What's the name of it? What is that? I never had that before. You want to try it? No. Some weird stuff. Turns out it's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But it's by a name that they never heard before. It's the same thing that is, the same spirit that a voice of a man is. It's coming in this deep voice. Oh my goodness. But it's truth. It's truth. And people do respond to truth. It's just not seemingly received when it's coming from a man that is very close to you. Typically, when people go to church and there is a truth that the pastor is saying, and it has nothing to do with chastisement, but more like, something that makes them feel good. You gonna get your blessing. It's coming. Pay that money. You gonna get your blessing. Oh, I like the way that he speak that truth. Right? But then when he starts saying, get your house in order. Let me fix this mic. Then suddenly, it's an issue. I don't like that truth. I don't like how he speaks. Because it's not popular. Because a lot of men don't do it. A lot of men are afraid of the way that a woman responds. Because a woman's greatest weapon is her mouth. What she says, her response. Even though there are a lot of women that think that they, that their thought of toughness is their strength. That's not it. Because a lot of guys, back away so as not to be confrontational with a lot of women, and that can enable a woman or empower a woman to feel like because these men aren't engaging her, that is evidence of her superiority in her strength. It's like, no. Typically, a man just knows what comes with engaging. And typically, it will be, he's not going to really have to deal with her. He's going to have to deal with other men. So a man doesn't really engage with a woman like that. Because typically, there's a lot of superheroes that will come to the aid. And, and that's typically, ingrained in men. We come to the aid of women. And a lot of women know that. And they'll use that to their advantage. But what we need in this moment is truth and reckoning. Absolutely. Truth and reckoning. We don't need any more of this sort of talk, especially, men who are fathers, men who have daughters. We don't need raise our daughters in an environment that cultivates irresponsible women, because I mean we have enough of that. There was a point in time that the teenage pregnancy thing was a problem, and then the single motherhood thing was a problem. But then it got flipped. The narrative got flipped, just like the slut shaming thing. All of this stuff gets flipped. And who flips it? Other women. That's who's flipping it. It's Cardi B. What's that lady who was out there doing who was not married, but was with Kanye West? What's her name? Amber Rose. Is this, there were women who shamed or who exposed that sort of behavior as bringing shame upon them. It was women that pushed that. And they kept the girls in line. Their daughters were like, you ain't gonna bring no shame on this family. Running around there like a Jezebel hussy. That's how they used to talk to their daughters. But then the narrative flipped, and then the women started promoting the idea that shaming women, like they put that on the men. Oh, you're slut shaming. No. Typically, that's women that do that, because the first thing that a woman will do when she's upset with you is she will call you that. She will she'll use that against you. She'll use your sexual promiscuity against you. But a lot of the times, a man would be promoting that because he likes the idea of being able to sleep with you. No holds barred, no restraints. He likes that idea. So you are more shamed by other women. And then Amber Rose came and put that shaming to shame. He's slut shaming. If a woman wants to dress the way she wants to dress. Yeah. What I find is these narratives start existing among women, and then men get the blame for it. It's quite interesting, but we need an end to that. And I think that the moment men begin to start speaking out again, like no holds barred, but speak the truth, and not just saying things just for the, for shock value. I know that there's some guys out there that just say anything, because, it brings the chats in. It gets the super chats, Yeah, you told her. No, I'm not into that thing. Some guys just like to bash women. That's ridiculous to me. And I think those guys probably have some super duper issues, just running around, just woman hating. You're no different than those, than a lot of those hardcore feminists that just want to see men castrated. You're no different from them. There's no point in that, because men, we actually do need women. In a sense. Now, I know that we feel like, well, we have the physical thing. We don't need them for infrastructure. Yeah, no, that's true. But there's a different aspect that we actually do need women in. And that tends to be purpose. And that tends to come with family. Because that is why a man does what he does. He does what he does because someone gives him purpose, or he finds purpose. And typically that purpose, like when a man is alone, a man will give up early. A man will give up quickly, quicker than he would if he had something that he was doing it for. Typically his children. In his family, I mean, think about it. I saw this episode of where they put these people on these islands by themselves. Each one was on their own island and they had to survive. And whoever survived the longest got like $500,000. And I saw men and I saw women. All of them were separated on their own island, and some of the women outlasted some of the men. Ultimately, a man won. But what his driving mechanism was his family. That's why he stayed on that island, because he was thinking about leaving early. And a lot of men would. But that's why a man does it. It's not like there's just some already built-in mechanism inside of a man because you have, sperm and because you have some muscles and testosterone. That a man is already built to just brave the world and do all of the hard stuff that nanny boo-boo a woman cannot do. No. There tends to be a reason a man does it. And it's purpose. When he does, and yeah, I know that there's some guys that just do things for thrills, like jumping off a doggone bridge with a bungee cord attached to them, or getting inside of a soda can and going down into the depths of the ocean to go see the Titanic, which is ridiculous. But I digress from that. No. We do need each other. Men and women, we need each other. But what we don't need is more lies and propaganda that are geared toward helping, ultimately, big business make a profit. Because that's all that is about. It's about separating the family. Separating the family. No one is accountable for anything. Oh, it's all of the women's fault. Oh, it's all of the men's fault. No. Each of us are accountable for our actions. His sperm is not the reason you gained all that weight. Don't listen to that foolishness. And to men, listen. Not every woman is jacked up like they try to tell you. A lot of them are, but not every woman is jacked up. Typically, men, we have our eyes set on a specific thing. And that's what we want. All right? You say you want a 120-pound woman? Well, there she is. She's right there. But her eyeball is cocked to the side. Right? She couldn't help that. Her eyeball's cocked. And your homies are going to make fun of you. But she got a cocked eye and her teeth are a little bit jacked up. But she's a sweetheart. Why don't you go mess with her? Come on. You say you want this perfect girl, but, come on. Sometimes the pretty ones come with a lot of pretty ugly problems. All right? And it's the same appreciation that men want. We want to be appreciated for things, right? Here's what I bring to the table. Well, she might be bringing something to the table, everything you wanted, with the exception of good looks. So all I'm saying is not everyone is jacked up with a jacked up attitude, right? So don't go out there with this idea that all women are the enemy. Because this is what is happening right now. There's a narrative being pushed that all men are the enemy, which is a lie. And it's even more disheartening to see men doing it. Men. Whatever happened to the code? But anyway, that's all I'm going to address for now. Be sure to hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. And be on the lookout for another subject matter brought up by Dynamite Radio. Oh yeah!